Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing today? We've got myself, Razor, here. We've got Columbus Chrollo and Jantehh here with the Alberta Snow Devils. We are here with episode 1 of what I am calling Game 5. That is the name of the podcast. If I was on any like casting this week, you probably kept hearing me say Easter eggs, Easter eggs. I'd like to see a Game 5. I'd like to see a Game 5. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is why podcast is going to be officially called Game 5. Could change on down the road. We'll see during the next season possibly, but right now we're going to stick with Game 5. Anybody has any names or anything they want to shoot at me, ideas, I'm always welcome. My DMs are always open. Top 5 plays and also a surprise are coming up later on this week, so take a look out for that. Anyways, Chrollo, Jantehh, the last match of week 1 of Average Joe Cod League just finished up with the Academy. Premiere is over as well, correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
All right, so we are officially done with week 1, and I'll start with Chrollo, because I specifically wanted him on this week for the first week. He was on an academy championship team last year with the Columbus Chaos. And now he is back on Columbus trying to bring another championship to Columbus, but this time in the Premier League, fighting with the big dogs. And I just kind of want to get your thoughts on how your first season went inside of Average Joe's, how the second season is looking, and what you're kind of expecting coming up.
The second season was, or the, my bad. The first season was, I'm not gonna say it was easy, but it definitely wasn't like we were kind of running through people a good bit, and then three of the four of us got moved up to Premier. And then this season, obviously, we started 0-1. We got 3-1, so that was kind of rough. Personally, didn't play very well, but I think we can turn it around. I don't think it's like too far gone. It's only week 1, so.
Okay. Jantehh, you played last season, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
not okay. What team were you on last season?
I was on Florida.
On Florida. Okay, so you were in Premier last year. Okay. So how did your first season go? And then what are your expectations coming into the second season with Alberta Snow Devils?
So last season was very rough throughout the whole year. A lot of roster changes. Uh, some people getting kicked from the server. A lot of controversy, but this season I feel like we're going in. I mean, last season we went in with high hopes, high expectations from different teams. This year we're not on the same level. Where I only won one game last season. Doug only won two. We have two people who basically didn't even play last season, so it wasn't high expectations. But through scrims we look great. So
Okay.
we're holding ourselves to a high standard.
Yeah, for sure. And I think everybody is with this new season. Everybody's kind of new hopes, new teams, new teammates, maybe some old teammates. Me personally, this is my first official season playing in the in Average Joe's, and this is really my first ever Call of Duty league that I've ever played in. I've heard of the COD Rec League and the UR for years, but I've never thought I was even good enough to even be in them, so I never even gave it a fucking try. But then I was with this guy named Drew Bate. Shout out to my old duo. We teamed together back in IW. And then again, many years later, I think in maybe MW 2019, maybe, and before I officially quit. And then I came back for this game because he wanted me to get back on the sticks for this game, and we created a league. Um, and then then I ended up getting invited to this off of that. So, and I just kind of stuck around like the first season, not really doing much, just kind of lingering around in chats, keeping up with what was going on. And then about midway through the season, I was like, well, I might as well just do my combine, see what's up. I got ranked as Ruby, and then I was in a Twitch chat. Phoenix from Chicago ended up hitting me up to coach for the last like 2 or 3 weeks for them. And I just had a lot of fun learning the game, learning spawns again, like being in that competitive spirit again. So I decided, hey, like we were in like week 5 or 6 of season one. I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to try and play next season. If I get drafted, I get drafted. If not, I don't. But then a GM spot applications come out, and I was like, well, I'm gonna try to be a GM. So I became a GM, and of course, my team, the Cincinnati Demons, with the Academy League. Excited about that. I think I had a really good draft coming out of that, and we got some high expectations this season. Um, but other than that, let's jump right into it. The main conversation of this week, our week one matchups, and then other week one matchups, and then a little later on in the show, we'll take a look forward of week two. So, Jantehh, I'll start with you this time. Who did y'all play first week? How did it go? And just tell me about your first week one matchup.
We played Cancun Cartel, lost 3-2. Um, it was definitely upsetting. I mean, we expected to go in there, dominate, and it did not go our way. We scrimmed a lot going into the season, and hard point was our bread and butter. Lost both hard points. So we know what our problem was. We're just gonna fix that around. I mean, us taking control in the search though is good because we dominated in control of the search. We played pretty well. The the last match though, Game 5, we got just destroyed. I mean, 6-0. I went 0-6. Teammates, I mean, they did what they could, but at the end of the day, we got ran through.
Yeah, I'm really happy with Premier League this year. Um, I mean, and y'all were like one of the first games of the season, right? Like overall for season two.
Yeah, second Premier League game
Yeah,
or
so
game in general.
I think every Premier League game this week, except for maybe one, went 3-2, and that's what we want to see, right? We want to see. I'm gonna do it again. These game fives, sure. But anyways, but yeah. So y'all take the L out of game five there, but um, like I said, I watched that game. I watched that game all the way through. Or that series. That literally could go any which way, honestly. Um, the hard points were fun to watch, and just overall competition in the Premier League has definitely jumped up this season.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
definitely like that.
yeah, for
It's
sure.
not last season. It was just two teams going back. I mean, just smoking everybody, and we already knew who was going to the championship going into the season, basically.
Yeah, and it was kind of like that for Academy last year. It was a lot of 3-0s, 3-1s. Competition was there, but we really didn't see anything like competitive and close really all season. Um, but even with Premier League, like season one grand finals, like championship series, we see a reverse sweep from Iowa, um, which that was a great series. And then coming into this year, like we've seen nothing but mainly 3-2s, and I think we have like 1-3-1. So I'm excited with Premier. Chrollo, again, I'll speak about you a little bit. Um, season one champion, get part of the team that of the Columbus Chaos that gets moved up into season two, to Premier League, and you managed to stay on Columbus. How was your week one matchup? And who was it against?
We played New Jersey. We lost 3-1. We were the only 3-1 in Premier League, so was not great. Uh, I don't know. I think I played pretty bad, but my teammates Quas and Jordy, both of them played pretty well. We did make technically two team changes. We had Drax going into the game. He had already decided to drop himself uh, prior to the match. It was more of a he doesn't play the game, so he didn't want to play anymore. It wasn't anything to do with the team. So he dropped himself, and then after the match, we just felt like we needed to make another change, and we weren't gonna keep. We didn't think we were gonna be able to put up a fight against some of the, I guess, better teams in the Premier League with our current roster. So we decided to drop Saint, and we're currently still looking for our fourth. Um, I don't. I played pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like personally, but Jordy and Quaza both played well enough to where I think that we still have a shot if I pick it up and if we pick up a good fourth.
Okay, okay. Now, I'll talk a little bit um about the Premier League schedule as soon as I get it pulled up here. No, the Academy Premier League schedule. So, Alberta Snow Devils, you're going against the Stockton Stingers for week 2. Um, who is on their roster again? I know it's Wall Dog. Who's the other 3?
I'm pretty sure it's Waldog Rock. I think they're picking up Benjay, and I
Stokely.
think Stokely. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a pretty solid roster. Um, I mean, Rock is an animal. I've played with him in League 8s a few times here and there, and absolutely disgusting. Wall Dog, I was actually trying to pick him up in Academy League last year, before he got moved up, but unfortunately that fell through. And then Stokely, I played a lot of games with him through the off season. Was hoping that he wasn't going to get ranked up because I was going to go after him for Academy, but he did unfortunately get ranked up, which he deserves it. He's a great player. And then Vinjay. I haven't really seen him play or don't really know him at all, but I'm sure if Wall Dog is looking at him, he's got to be a great player. What are your thoughts on their roster and the week 2 matchup?
No, their roster is solid. If all of them can play the role if they can be comfortable playing the role they're supposed to play, that team's going to be a top 5 team. I mean, obviously, Rock is one of the hardest kills in the Premier League. Stokely he has a gunny on him. He just makes stupid decisions.
That kid stinks, dude. Don't gas me like that.
Nah, he's solid. I mean, he's a champion. I mean, I have to, tip that.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't.
Yeah, your teammate from last year. What are you talking about now? And also, one thing I do wanna, me personally, is it Chrollo or is it Trollo?
Chrollo.
Oh my god,
Chrollo with a C.
It's
yeah.
Chrollo with a C, or did
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
or did I still butcher that? Because I've
No.
heard people say
Chrollo.
Trollo or Shrollo, and then I've heard people say Chrollo.
Nah, it's Chrollo.
That
Okay,
is so annoying that people keep saying Trollo. It
I
is
know. So
insane.
I've always said Chrollo, but I've heard different shit. So I want to make sure here on the podcast, here on Game 5, I want to clarify it for everybody that's watching, everybody that's going to watch. It is indeed Chrollo, not Trollo. Shrollo. Anyways, let's talk about. We've already talked about your week 1 matchup. We'll talk about your week 2 matchup, Chrollo, and then we'll talk about the rest of the week 1 matchups quickly. So you have the Iowa Mad Cops, which is, I know Zach, Clutch, and I don't know the other 2, unfortunately.
No. We play LA next
Oh
week.
no, yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at Cancun. Yeah, Columbus. You play LAW, so which is the Los Angeles Wild Ducks. I do not know their roster, so you're going to have to fill me in if you know. If not, I can look at it. But how you feeling about that week 2 matchup?
Pretty good. I know that they have their roster's Deborah, Nasty Diamond, CB Kings, and American Nightmare. I mean, we scrimmed them. We definitely lost, but that was before roster changes and stuff. So, um, I'm looking forward to it. I think that we have a good chance of winning next week. I don't see a reason why we would just absolutely get smoked or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I played one. I played one series of League Eights with CB Kings and Jantehh. I think you might have been on either on my team or the other team, but it was me. It was me, Sustain, Biz, and CB Kings against 4 other people. Unfortunately, I'd have to look back the eight screenshots to know for sure who we played, but CB Kings dropped like 39 and then 47. Dude was going absolutely off. So he is. Me personally, I'm not saying I'm scared of him, but I would hate to be on the other side of his gunny because that man was frying in 8s. So yeah. So looking at the rest of the week 1 matchups, LAW, they played Iowa week 1. They did indeed also win 3-1, if I'm not mistaken by what this is saying here. So LAW beat Iowa 3-1. Did y'all able to catch that match?
Yeah. It definitely was a good game. Iowa was missing Clutch. I think somebody from Los Angeles wasn't there. I could be wrong. But Deborah took over the map. I mean, nobody could kill Deborah. He was smoking them. CB Kings, he played his role really well. I mean, he's a good player. He's a top tier AM player.
Yeah, Deborah is. I've been calling him my roofing partner because he is a insurance adjuster for like a third party roof insurance adjuster. I know I'm putting his shit out there, but but I'm on the other side of that. I'm a roofing salesman, so I deal with like selling or dealing with insurance claims to get to the insurance adjuster, and then he comes out and approves it or declines it or whatever. So but yeah, Deborah's a great player, and I mean I've already went over CB Kings.
Yeah, and then Nasty Diamond.
Yeah,
He went on like a 15 streak. I think it was Mercado Hardpoint. I mean, he was just untouchable.
yeah,
I mean, he
That
just
map he went 29-9. So
yeah, no,
yeah. When you have a player that goes 29-9, it's and then you have other players like we've stated before around them. It's going to be difficult to win. I mean that sounds like I'm not really familiar with Nasty Diamond too much. I've seen him. I've seen 1 or 2 games of him in the UR, I believe, or maybe him casting in the UR match. But I've heard that he's a great player, and unfortunately I just haven't seen him play. So next up would be okay, go. I'm sorry, daughter, interrupting. The New Jersey. Oh no, we already talked about that. The Voodoo against Ontario.
that was probably the best match of the week, I'd say, in my eyes.
So y'all gonna have to fill me in on this one. I was watching it and I watched like the first 2 maps and I ended up falling asleep while watching it. Not because it was a boring game, but because I was dead ass tired from work, and I think that night I came home and scrimmed right after work, and then I watched that game after our scrim, and I just ended up passing out. Um, so it was a 3-2. Ontario Blue Dragons won that against the Voodoo. Do y'all know those rosters? I'm sorry, I really need to keep up with Premier a little bit better.
So Voodoo has Booter, OG, Piggy, and Carnage. The Ontario has Dixie, Jerome, Glidden, and Austin. Austin was not there. It was Chili who subbed in for him.
Chili Mac, right? Chili Max,
Yep.
whatever their name is.
And he did a pretty solid job of subbing in. I mean, he got them a win, helped them out. But I mean, it was last year's Premier Champion versus last year's Premier Champion. Both of them switched roles. I know that Booter was running the sub, Dixie ran an AR. And I mean, Dixie was frying. Like Dixie was just great. I know Glidden, he had a rough series, but he also was playing off of I know somebody else's PC setup just so he can make the game.
Okay.
Yeah, Dixie went 14-6 in one of their searches.
Oh damn.
He was definitely trying, yeah.
So what made? I mean, other than the series going 3-2, what made that series so good?
It was back and forth all game. It wasn't any blowouts. It wasn't like it was just one team railed. Like, I mean,
all
it was just
all 5 matches were close.
Yeah, it was nothing like how our game was, where every match was close into the last 2, like the control and hardpoint for us.
Okay.
Like everything was just, it was a good series throughout.
Okay.
Yeah, their hard points were 250 to 245 and 250 to 230 for reference. Or 6-4 for one of the searches, and I think that's 6-5 for the other one. Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 6-5 for the other one.
That's definitely probably as close as a matchup as you can get, honestly. Yeah. So done with Premier. We'll go ahead and start talking about Premier Week 2 matchups. We've already talked about y'all's. And I also just want to say this. Thank you for everybody that's watching. I'm gonna take a short break here from this before we get into Week 2 matchups. Venom, thank you for the follow. Shout out to you in chat. Um, uh, Kevy, shout out to you in chat. Tex, welcome, welcome. Jantehh, welcome. Low Talker, welcome. Harry, welcome. Calling me fucking Asom again, bro. I'm gonna time you out of Discord, bro. Anyways, just some quick shout outs to chat. We are live here with episode 1 of Game5 Podcast of the Average Joe Cod League, where we talk everything Average Joe. So going into week 2 matchups, boys, we've already talked about y'all's. So let's talk about some others here. We've got Cancun Cartel against the Iowa Mad Cops. Any predictions on that game? And also, how do the rosters match up?
I think if Clutch plays, though, if both teams all come fully like everybody plays, I think Cancun still wins regardless. I think they win 3-1. I think they have a chance to 3-0 them. I think Cancun is one of the more underrated teams. I mean, they have Kev, who I think should have won MVP last season. I mean, he's their playmaker, play caller. If Div plays how he played last week, I mean, there's there's not a lot of people can stop him. But on the other side, Zach, he's consistent. I mean, he was a co-MVP last year. You have Clutch, who won a championship last year. Gunsage, I mean, he can do what he can do. Psychic is a new player over there, so I'm not sure who he is or what he can do. But I mean, they made a move for a reason.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cancun still wins it, but I think it'll be close. I think it'll be closer than 3-0. I think they take at least one map, but I think
Yeah,
the chance is always there.
Okay, so both y'all saying Cancun 3-1?
yeah, that's what
I
I'm
think
thinking.
3-1's, yeah.
Okay,
3-1 fight.
okay.
I think Cancun. I mean, they looked great last. I mean, when they played us, I didn't expect them to look that good. I mean, they
Yeah.
shocked us. I mean, their hard point was great, and then their search was even better.
All right, so going on to the next one here, we got the Carolina Carnage, going against the Ontario Blue Dragons.
I think that's gonna be a game of the week. I can see that being a 3-2 either way.
Oh, we didn't talk about that match. The Carolina Carnage and Stockton Stingers.
Oh, Carolina. Yo, okay.
Yeah.
That's all we
It
did.
was all close. Yeah, it was all close, but every map was pretty close.
Yeah, I see here Carolina did pull off the win 3-2. I'll go in a little in depth about that real quick. Looks like
They won.
Carolina won a hard point, lost a hard point. They lost the second search and destroy, but it looks like they won the second search and destroy. Yeah, so they lost game 2, won game 5, and then they won the control.
They were both playing with subs. I know Stockton had 2 subs for that match, and then Carolina had I think just one.
Yeah, they only had one.
Yeah.
He was out.
Okay. How do you think they match up against Ontario?
I think. I mean, if Dixie's running, I think Dixie is still their AR. I mean, that'd be Dixie versus Sustain, which could go either way because I think Dixie with AR is very underrated. I mean, then you have the Snow. I mean, Snow is nasty too. I mean, he's gotten way better since last season.
I don't know about that. Stop gassing these people.
Nah, bro, he's definitely gotten better since last season. And then
Stop gassing these egos, Jantehh.
I mean, yeah, the egos in this league is crazy already. And then who are they playing?
It's
They play.
Ontario, right?
Yeah.
it's Carolina
I mean,
on
if
Ontario.
Austin plays, I mean, Austin is a solid player. I didn't expect him to be as good as he actually is, but he is actually a solid player. So I mean, I think it's even throughout the whole thing. I mean, Fly, he's an underrated player. He makes plays. Linksy plays. I don't know what he's gonna do honestly.
Okay.
I can't. I don't know.
So any predictions on that matchup?
I think it can go 3-2 either way. I'm leaning towards Carolina because I think Carolina is the top 2 team.
Okay.
And I think if they do go in Game 5, I think they are the better search and destroy team.
All right. What about you, Chrollo?
I think I'm going Ontario with that one. I just think that if they all four show up on both teams rosters right now, I think Ontario is just a little bit better. I think they edge them out.
Okay, you think they
Um,
edge them out like
just
3-1 close maps, or is it going
I
down to the
think
wire
I
to a
think
game
like
five?
yeah, I think Game 5 probably.
Okay.
They could end 3-1 because I just think that their slaying power is probably a little bit better. So that's gonna help them out a lot in their respawns. Uh, but yeah, I'm sure Carolina is a lot better search team than.
Which
I'm
Yeah,
not
I
sure
think
they're a lot better, but I think that they are a pretty good search team.
which also, I mean, reminder to everybody listening, and it is only week one. Going into later on the season, people are going to have more stats on teams, especially when it comes to maps and things like that. I think that's going to be the biggest change for this season. With Zach calculating all of those stats for us, and seeing what teams are avoiding what map on what mode, what are they good at, what are they bad at. If and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because, like, for instance, like this Carolina Ontario game that kind of 50-50 on here, like, who knows, they may pick a map set, ban and pick a map set that may favor a team or not, and then a match that can go 3-2 can very well be 3-1 or 3-0 just because a team got lucky or unlucky in map bans.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I can't see what maps.
Yeah, I don't think any week 2 matchups have been actually scheduled out with map bans or anything like that yet. Um, which, I mean, they'll come throughout the week, of course, and I think that's the only downfall kind of with having the pod like right now, like right after the last show. I mean, the show right after the last match of week 1 and week 2 and what we're gonna do from here on out. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting for all these matchups to see what maps they're gonna pick for each mode. Um, I know here in Academy we've had a lot of trends of hotel, 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 and then we've had 2 map sets where it was like hotel, 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 Mercado, Mercado, and then hotel, 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 fortress, fortress. Which is cool. I mean, your teams are comfortable on those 2 maps or whatever during that series, but on down the season, teams are going to get smarter and realize, hey, I mean, we're at week 4 or whatever, and you've played 3 maps the entire fucking season. So, um,
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting, the chess game that's going to kind of develop from that, because hopefully GMs and players are looking at that, noticing these things. That's the first thing I noticed when I'm seeing these academy teams. They're playing a lot of hotel, playing a lot of fortress, playing a lot of Mercado, staying away from LSCO, staying away from Expo, and things like that. So, I mean, who knows? Hopefully, they're practicing those maps and they're just like, maybe we're not strong on them, and maybe we'll play just these for now because we know we're strong on these maps. But who knows? But going forward, we've got the New Orleans Voodoo against the New Jersey Jackrabbits.
Is it Voodoo versus Jackrabbits?
Yeah, week 2.
I smell a sweep coming up. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, favoring who?
I think Voodoo is gonna show out that game. I mean, after losing a close game like that, they're gonna come to play. I think Jackrabbits. They're high. They're. I mean, if they're not locked in, I think they could easily get 3-0 really quickly.
Um, I think with Willie, I think that 3-1 is probably pretty accurate for that team. Uh, I don't think they'll get 3-0'd. Uh, maybe their search is pretty strong. So that is my input. New Jersey's search is pretty strong. I'm
Okay.
not sure about New Orleans at all. I haven't really watched. I don't think I watched any of that match from last week. I just see the scoreboards.
Their
But
slaying power is there.
yeah,
Their slaying
so
power is definitely
I,
there.
I think they can probably beat them in respawns, but I think that they could probably take the search.
So looks like New Orleans played 2 searches, lost both of them, 6-5 and 6-4. New Jersey played 1 search and won 6-4.
Yep.
New Jersey played Hotel and won 6-4. New Orleans played Embassy. No, I'm sorry. Correction. LSCO Search lost 6-5, and then played Mercado Search and lost 6-4. So currently Voodoo 0-2 in searches, which, as Call of Duty goers for a long time, searches win championships. It's plain and simple. I think it could have it could change a little bit more this year, just because how sound dependent search is. It's kind of a toss up, really. So it's really playing the waiting game, playing for a pick. That or just knowing for sure what your team's going to do and just executing a strat 100% regardless of the sound. And anyways, we all know the issues with that. But I think, honestly, what's going to make a difference, especially for our league, Average Joe Cod League, for Premier and or Academy, I think the real swing mode here, and I think it was probably the same kind of way last year or last season, is going to be control. I think control. If you get a team that's good at control, they're definitely going to be favored, right? Because then they're guaranteed one map of the first three, and then, I mean, stats don't lie. Hardpoint is the most 50-50 game mode in Call of Duty right now. And then Search and Destroy, like I said, it just comes down to teamwork and really just paying attention to your ears, which we all know what the dilemma with that is. So that's my opinion. So finish with week 1 and week 2 of Premier. Any final thoughts on that?
I do agree with you that I think control is going to be the big difference maker. I think enough people are scrimming like hard points and searches to like come up with strats. I think that control people just kind of write it off because it's one map per series. If you lose that, okay, we lost one map. Who cares? It's not as big of a deal, but in reality, you lose one map. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it really
Crazy.
is, because I mean, in my opinion, is this, right? Just say you split the first two, right? It's 1-1. Well, now you're going into a control that you don't scrim a lot, but the other team has. Now you're down 2-1. Now you're going into a hard point that's a 50-50, right? Especially a map like Mercado or Fortress, where if you don't have teamwork going on the entire time, you can get chained very quickly on hills, right? Fortress, for instance, you can chain you can chain you can chain P2, P3, and P4 together very easily. If you know spawn traps, if you know how to block, and you get proper rotations, you get proper cutoff kills, you can chain P2, P3, P2, P3, and P4 on Fortress very easily, and you can go down. I mean, just to be nice, right? Just say it's a 40-20 split. Well, you're down what 120 to 60 just off of those three hills. And honestly, most times, I'm sure y'all two can attest to this as well. Honestly, if you lock down P3, you're not going to get 40 seconds on that. You're going to get a full 60. So really, you're going to be looking at more of a 180 to 40 range just off those three hills. And then you're in a real pickle. Because at that point, if you're the team that can't do that in a Fortress, then, I mean, you're going to lose 3-1 in the series, all because you don't practice control.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think that enough people just aren't scrimming control to where it's, if you are scrimming it, you're gonna have the advantage. Or even if, I just don't think people are playing it. I think people just don't like control. So that's
Yeah, which, I mean, I can see it, right? Because control, regardless of the map, it's very spawn trap heavy, right? That's what every team is fighting for, spawn traps. Regardless of the map, though, you can spawn trap. You can spawn trap in LCO, you can spawn trap in Expo, you can spawn trap in Hotel. You just got to have the right teamwork in order to do it, and the knowledge of the map on how to spawn trap. So I think a lot of people kind of don't like that map because of that reason. But honestly, I think it's the most teamwork heavy mode that there is. Now, do I like it? No, but I know how important it is when it comes to a 5-game series. And I think we're going to start seeing that trend later on in the season through the stats. Teams that are winning series or teams that are going to be winning controls. You can mark my words. What are your thoughts on that, Jantehh, while I get ready for setting up Academy here?
I mean, everything I said is right. If you win control, you have a way better chance to win in the series. I mean, like Chrollo said, you don't. I have not once seen somebody hit us up and say, "Hey, let's make sure we get a couple controls into scrim." It's always let's play 5 rotations of hardpoint, maybe even 4 because people don't want to play Hydra, and then like maybe get like 2 searches, and we don't want to give you our strats. So
Yeah.
when you're not, we scrim control more than probably anybody, and we didn't even scrim it a lot. We scrimmed it like 2-3 times, and we won 3-0. Every round was like 55 seconds. And
Yeah,
it's just because we actually scrimmed it.
Yeah, my team, we've done anywhere from 7 to 11, 12 scrims. And every single one we get at least one control in, and we have not lost one. So, like I said, it just kind of shows. Now, given we haven't really had our full team the last week, but I'll talk about more of that later on. But yeah, I think teams that are scrimming control or at least VOD reviewing control and learning things, even if they're watching CDL, I don't think a lot of people take into consideration of watching the pros play that game mode or any game mode and really learning how much you can learn from them in their breaks, in their setups, in their rotations, in their strats. And hell, I was playing a fucking ranked game the other day. Somebody, and we were 4-stacking, so of course we were going against a 4-stack, and boom, we get hit with a fucking optic A strat first round. Like, I was fucking mind blown, by the way, and that threw me off. But, anyways, going into Academy here, we'll try to keep this short and sweet. We're about 46 minutes here, so don't want to keep y'all too much longer. And plus, I know, do y'all pay attention to Academy?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I do. I coach indie, so I try to keep up with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jantehh, who do you coach?
Fresno.
Fresno. Okay. So I'm just gonna go in order here that I have on the spreadsheet. So first game that I have here, Atlanta against Vegas. Probably won't spend too much time on this. It was a 3-0 for Atlanta. They take that week 1 matchup. Any thoughts on that?
Not really. It's a 3-0. It's kind of an expected 3-0, to be honest with you.
Which, a lot of these, this is kind of why I picked Academy to go last here, because a lot of these games or series weren't close. Okay, second up here, we've got your team that you're coaching for, Chrollo. The Indianapolis Thundercats went up against the Manchester Meerkats and came away with a 3-1 victory. What map? Do you know what map they dropped?
Yeah, they dropped Embassy Search.
Embassy Search, so that would be map 2. So they won all 3 respawns.
Yeah, they won all 3 respawns.
Okay.
Um,
Any thoughts on them?
Yeah, it wasn't surprising that they won, for me at least. Just looking at their team, you can tell that they are definitely there in slaying power. I think Search was just a little shaky because Christian would not put the sniper away. th- Basically through 3 rounds, but it's a joke. Christian and I are cool. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But, that's the only reason I think that they lost that is because there just wasn't a lot of strat beforehand, and then they get in the game and Walter went 14-9 that map, so he tried his best. Everybody tried, but it just didn't fall through.
That was actually a great series.
Yeah, the series was actually a lot closer than I thought. As far as
I thought Meerkats were gonna get steamrolled, and they definitely showed me something. They kept playing well together.
Yeah. Shout out to Action just got picked up right a day before the matchup, I think, right?
Yeah, maybe less than that, honestly, because I think that we scrimmed them the night before. I filled in for their team, and then I think that they picked Action up while we were doing that.
Yeah, and then so he didn't play bad, but he didn't play. He played in that middle area for them, and then of course You've got Pew Pew, which is a really solid Emerald, and you've got Kyle and Kaneki, which are also two very good players in their own right. Kyle, what I've seen from him, what I've heard from, I haven't seen him play personally, but what I've heard is that he's a really, really good player for them.
Yeah,
So
he is their second emerald, which
which is
I don't.
debatable. Yeah, debatable at best.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna skip over my team series, save it for last. So moving on, we have the Fresno Freaks and the LA Demons, and the LA Demons were able to come away with a 3-0 on there. Uh, Now, Jantehh, you say you coach for Fresno. Do you coach them during this game, or did you get picked up after?
I got picked up basically like the day of or like the day before, so we didn't really go over anything. I mean, I kept it sweet and simple. Told them they had to, rotate early, make sure you play together, play for picks and search. I mean, I told them they were playing LAD, who is arguably a top three team in the league. So, I mean, if you guys go out there and shock them right away, teams are gonna, be scared of you.
Yeah, for sure. Which I mean,
And
which I will say again, the same way with Indy and Manchester, it was a lot closer than a 3-0 says, right? I think the search was what 6-4, something like that.
6-3. Yeah.
6-3, something like that. And then I'm not sure about the hard point, but what I want to talk about on this about this series, LAD. The control goes to round 5, and LAD of course wins it. But surprise, surprise, Mr. DVN and Shaggy both pop off for 40 bombs and account for 80 kills of the 120 possible for 5 rounds of control. What do y'all think about that? Did y'all see that?
yeah, I mean, you can't really do anything against that. If a person's gunny is high, it's gonna be high. I mean, they could have played better, like together, maybe trying to get picks. But at the end of the day, I mean, they were just. I mean, DVN had a great series throughout the whole thing. Anyway, I mean, Shaggy had I mean, Shaggy too. He had a great series. I mean, DVN though, he was just the MVP. I mean, you couldn't do anything to him. Like he was just untouchable.
Yeah, they were frying that map 3. I was falling asleep during the map 1, and I think I kind of dozed off and then woke back up middle of the map 2, and then map 3 started and I was up because it was interesting because LAD went up 2-0, Fresno brought it back, tied it 2-2, and then Deviant and Shaggy just turned it up to another gear and dropped 40, and I'm pretty sure they were responsible for like 80% of their kills in that round 5. But LAD comes away with the win 3-0. Next up, we have the game that just finished recently before this show started. Nampa Ninja Peppers and the Michigan Moist Muffins. I caught most of that series. Michigan won 3-1 against our bald-headed friend Winded and crew. Did y'all catch that match, or what? Any thoughts about that?
I caught the end of it, and what I saw Wendell was in a blender. I He was like 8-21 at one point. I mean, he was getting smoked. But Ninja Peppers did almost complete a comeback. If what the last gunfight just went their way, where they weren't stacked on each other and they got the kill, they probably win that map and force it to game 5.
Yeah, it was interesting because I watched some of the game 2, and yeah, game 2, and Michigan was up in the search, and then Nampa brings it back and ends up taking that map. I didn't catch any of the control, unfortunately, or any of map 4, or barely any. I might have seen a couple rotations here and there, but yeah, and what's funny is Nampa. We warmed up Nampa. It was me, Piz, Joe, and a sub. We actually warmed up Nampa before their matchup, and they beat us. Um, they beat us in the hard point and the search, and we beat them in the control though. And we played, of course, the first 3 maps of their series tonight. We warmed them up, and Nampa beat us, which I don't really count it as a scrim because it was a warm up. But they were the first team to do that, to I guess technically win a scrim series off of us this year. And Michigan. I was expecting the series to be a little bit closer than it was. I was maybe expecting. I was honestly expecting a 3-2. I think these are two teams that could be fighting for a top 5 spot. In the league overall, as far as academy goes. And then Michigan just comes out. I think Tech's had a pretty decent series. I saw at one point Bestie Westy was frying on map 1. Um, and then who are the other two guys that they have? They have an Auditor, yeah,
he had a great series.
yeah, who had a great series as well, especially in that map 4. I think he went for close to 40, right? I think he had like 36 or something like that.
Yeah, ripping 3 pieces left and right.
Yeah, which Auditor was the number 1 overall pick for Academy League in the pre or off season draft. So yeah, very very good win for Michigan there, going 1-0 for the first week. Now let's talk about my team before we close this out. Cincinnati Demons against the Chicago Outlaws. My team comes away with the win, 3-0. So we win map 1 pretty handily. I think it was Hotel Hardpoint, I believe. I think we win by like 90 points or something like that. And then we go into map 2, and which was, I think it might have been Hotel Search. We go up 4-0, and then they pull off 3 rounds. They pull off 3 straight rounds. It's 4-3 going to round 8. I get a 2-piece, and then it's a 2v4 that we end up winning. Go up 5-3, and then round 10 or round 9. I'm sorry. Kind of goes quickly. I get another 2-piece for First Blood, and then we find 2 more top glass and top bed in Hotel and close it out there 6-3. And then we played Expo Control and win 3-0. Rounds 1 and 2 were kind of decisive. That third round though, they almost pulled it away from us. I think we were able to capture the last point with like 4 lives to their like 10 or something like that. So yeah, so I mean, shout out to my team. Shout out to Kylan, who filled in for us, who he was just recently picked up from or by the Manchester Meerkats. Did y'all happen to watch my team series?
I did, yes, because my coach is over here, the best coach in the league, Keelan. As his real name is Keelan.
Oh,
You
okay.
just butchered it, call him Kylan. Just make sure you call him Keelan for the rest of your life.
All right, bet.
Man,
Keelan, gotcha.
yeah. But I popped in for him though. You know, he came for us. He watched us. It was definitely it was not very close. It was definitely a blowout. Joe Spades, that guy was going crazy. Or Joe Spo, however.
Joe Spo fades.
He had a nice series.
He did. Which he had a good control. I think that was probably his best map of the series. Hardpoint was probably my best map of the series, and then Keelan had probably the best. Hit map 2 was probably his best. I think he ended up going like 9-5 or something like that in search. So I mean, overall, I mean, it wasn't one person dominating, but it was just each person had a pop off map. And then you have Piz, who's back there, just in my opinion, is just a human turret. He's a human sentry gun. You put him on a heady, and it's hard to rip him off of it. So I like my team. I love the guys that I play with, and I look forward to the games. So won't spend too much time on this. Don't have to get y'all's predictions for these, but it's going to kind of go over these week 2 matchups. So leading into the next episode here, next week we got Atlanta goes against Manchester, which I think that game's actually already scheduled if I'm not mistaken. If I was to guess, me personally, if y'all want to predict, y'all can, but I'd probably want to say a 3-1. I think Manchester can probably take the search off of them.
I think that goes Game 5. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, really? You think Game 5?
I think them getting Kylan is a huge pickup.
Which, I mean, he definitely has a lot of slaying power to that team. That I mean, Kyle and Konecki is already very good for them. It would not surprise me if they go Game 5. Um, but I just don't see Manchester being able to pull it out. I think Scorps, Harry now being on the roster, and then Adam and who is their fourth?
Code.
Code.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, who is a top emerald as well. So yeah, that's a great team. Atlanta, in my opinion, could be a top 3, top 4 team. Next up we have Chicago against Indianapolis, a team that you're coaching, Chrollo. What's your thoughts on it?
I'm pretty sure that Chicago's gonna get slammed. I don't think that's gonna be really in the question.
Second that.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be 3-0. I don't think that they drop a map.
I
Okay.
think Indy has the best emerald in the league. Honestly,
You think Indy is the best emerald?
yes, I think it is the best emerald in the league.
Come on. Well, I mean that's fine. Go ahead and pitch for that because I want to keep my emeralds. So go. Yeah, you sure? Yep. Evade's the best emerald in the league, and I think Code is the second best, and I think I've got two bottom 10, two bottom top 10 emeralds in the league, so no need for them to be ranked up at all.
Oh no, Joe Spades just might be a Kyanite. He played last season series.
What are you talking about? He only had one good map, brother. He only had one good map.
Nah.
I
He went 22-12, and almost 3 minutes in the hill. That's a 1-8 KD with 3 minutes in the hill.
bro,
Oh no, that might be Kyanite numbers.
I went 30-13 with a minute and 40. Come on now.
Hold on. Let's see.
Gotta
224 KD that series.
gotta
Oh
give.
no, he might be a Kyanite. I
And
still
then
think a base better than him though.
all right. No, and, that's for opinions, but that's fine. I'm happy with having a Vade up there. Like I said, my guys can stay on my team. I'll keep that. Anyways, move on to the next one here. We've got my team, the Cincinnati Demons, going up against our bald-headed friend in the Nampa Ninja Peppers. What are y'all thoughts on that game?
I think you guys won 3-1. Yeah, they did beat you guys, but that's not gonna be a competitive scene. I mean, it's a warm up, like you said. I mean, everything what scrims are gonna reflect what you're playing the game, but not to the same level because you're gonna be playing with more passion. So I think you guys take it 3-1. I don't know what map they might take a hard point, maybe a control. I don't know what they're gonna take, but I think they will take one. I don't think they're gonna get swept.
What are you, Corla?
Uh, I don't know. I think that could be 3-1. It's either gonna be 3-1 or 3-0. I don't see them taking 2 maps. I think that if they're gonna take a map, they're gonna take Search, just because I think that the other 2 maps, or the other 3 maps, I guess, if they took a Search, would take too much slaying power that I don't think that they have. But I think you could go either way.
Which I told when did this on stream. We were casting a match together, and we were casting a hotel Mercado. I told him, I was like, you better watch out because I'm the home team this week, I think. So that means I get to ban 1, 3, and 5. And he picks those sides. And I told him, I was like, you might want to be careful because I may just ban fucking all 3 hotels, buddy. I may ban Hotel Control, ban Hotel Search, and ban Hotel Hardpoint, and just see how fucking deep y'all's map pool is. Because I'm tired of seeing this hotel bullshit. But anyways, I won't do a prediction because it's my team. I just know that we may or may not have a sub going into it. We had a sub for our first series. We had a sub for the warm up against them today. We even had a sub versus them when we scrimmed them earlier in the week before our game. So I think it's gonna be a good matchup. I won't do any predictions at all. All I gotta say is good luck, have fun. Anyways, moving on to the next match here, we've got the Fresno Freaks, which is Jantehh's team that he coaches, and the Michigan Moist Muffins. What are your thoughts on that?
So since it's my team, again, I'm doing the same thing you're doing. I'm not gonna put a little estimate thing.
But that's not your team. That's the team you're coaching.
Nah, that's my team.
I answered the team that I was coaching. You gotta.
Yeah. See, Yeah, that is true. Chrollo did say he was gonna piss slam Chicago.
Yeah,
Well,
so
that's
now if they
because
don't,
See,
but that's Chicago though. It's Chicago. Come on, man. Nah. I mean, if my team plays at their best, they can throw on any team in this league. That's including you, Racer. That's including Indy. I mean, we are the only team that has a champion still down there.
that is true.
who's the champion on that team?
Silent Wolf,
Wolf.
Oh, Silent Wolf. That is true.
and they got him back on the AR.
Jesus, did they not have him on an AR?
No, they
In
did. They
that,
did. They did.
okay.
But say when we
Yeah.
scrimmed them the first or second day of season 2, like right after the draft, I'm pretty sure Silent was running an AR.
Yeah, and then Low Talker's there still. I mean, Low Talker's a nice player too.
He
He's
really
one of the
is.
more underrated players.
He
And
really
then
is.
they with Snick's schedule being a little messed up. I'm pretty sure that's why they dropped him and they grabbed Kevy. So
Wait, who did they
Yeah.
drop?
Snicks. I'm pretty sure they dropped
Oh,
Snicks.
okay.
So with Kevy being over there now, I think if they can get some good scrims in, we're gonna go over VOD soon. I think they can definitely be a team to be anybody.
All right. Well, that will do it from week 1 or that'll do it for pretty much most of the show here. It's going to close this out. We finished talking about week 1 matchups and predictions and lookouts for week 2. Boys, any other questions or anything before I get to this last little segment here?
I think we got to do a donkey of the week, man.
A what of the week?
A donkey of the week. Person who just like something bizarre, something out of character, or like something like that somebody choked on, like somebody just didn't do good. Donkey of the week.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
And I think Chrollo knows who Donkey of the Week is. I'll let him say it.
Who is y'all's Donkey of the Week? Who is y'all's Game 5 Average Joe Cod League Donkey of the Week?
I think we're gonna go with Jantehh, the 06 and the Search and Destroy.
Game 5, tough.
Yeah, I think dropping the donut is possibly the winner for that one. I think that somebody else dropped the donut as well, but nobody in Premier. So
Yeah, no, I definitely deserve it. I'm supposed to be one of the better players in Search in the league, and the whole overall Search, the 2 maps for Search, I think I went like 5-15 or 5-16. I just could not get anything going in Search. Definitely deserve it.
Okay. So it's official. Jantehh is your first week Donkey of the Week here on Game 5 for doing a donut on a Game 5 and costing his team the W. So I'm just going to throw that out there.
yeah.
Anyways, all right, you guys, that's going to do it for us. I'll leave another minute or so. If anybody in chat that has any other questions, statements, or anything that you want to hear us talk about. And let's see what's up. Auditor, welcome to the stream. How you doing, buddy? So I'm gonna leave it about a minute, guys. We got about a minute left in the show. No, you're good. It's gonna be posted on the YouTube. You can go back and listen to it later on Auditor. But yeah, when about a minute or so, we'll close the show out. But I just want to take any last thoughts from chat here on live. It's gonna be a little bonus thing moving forward for y'all who tune in live. We did talk about both leagues, Auditor. We did. We talked about Premier first and then Academy. So any other questions or statements y'all want us to talk about before we head out here? Yes, DVN, you did indeed lose or miss out on the Academy talk. But go check it out on Average Joe Cod League YouTube and Sparky3's YouTube, which is the entertainment group that I'm a part of. And you can rewatch it. Vipes the God, thank you for the follow. DVN, thank you for the follow.
Vibes the God is me. So don't.
Oh, well, shouted you out anyways.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you got about 15 seconds to post anything in chat, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit the outro, and we'll be out of here. Ten seconds, boys. Anything that in chat y'all want us to talk about? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, that'll be it for us here at Game 5. Thank you for coming and listening. You'll be able to hear this on YouTube, as I stated before. All the links will be below for Chrollo and Jantehh. Boys, if y'all want to send me those through DMs, I'll get y'all socials out there. If you're interested in joining the league, please feel free to comment down below, and I can get y'all situated on that. And with that, boys, we are out of here.